Ever find yourself kind of fascinated by how people learn? Like, what actually works best?
Oh, totally. I mean, everyone's got their own style, right?
Yeah, and I think we all want to make the most of our time and energy when we're learning something new. So today, we're taking a deep dive into a really interesting case study. Taiwanese students and just how much time they put into studying.
This is one where you really have to ask, is all that dedication actually paying off the way they'd hope?
Exactly.
Mm.
Because it's not just about hitting the books for hours on end. It's about whether that translates into better understanding, better performance, and, even just better well-being overall.
Right, like are they sacrificing sleep, health, free time, all for the sake of academics?
Precisely. We'll be looking at how Taiwan's school hours stack up against other countries around the world, and then delve into some of the potential impacts all that study time might have on students' lives.
And ultimately, we're hoping this deep dive gets you thinking about your own learning journey and what truly matters most when it comes to achieving your goals.
So first things first, just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about here. The average school day for students in Taiwan is about 8.5 hours long.
Which is huge.
Right. That puts them up there with the countries that have the longest school days globally.
It's interesting to see how much variation there is around the world, though. Like, Thailand apparently has the longest school day, clocking in at 9.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And Cambodia comes in just under that at 8.75.
Uh-huh.
And then you've got countries like Bangladesh and Myanmar, which are pretty similar to Taiwan, also around that 8.5 hour mark.
Okay, so we're already seeing a pattern here. But there's another layer to this whole equation, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. We can't forget about the cram schools.
Right. So many students in Taiwan attend these after-school programs, which basically means adding several more hours of intense study on top of their already long school day.
Yeah. Think about that for a second. It's like having another school day tacked onto your regular one.
It's a pretty demanding schedule, to say the least.
It makes you wonder how they have any energy left for anything else.
Right. And it really begs the question, is all this extra study time actually beneficial?
That's what we're going to unpack. But before we get into that, it's helpful to look at how other countries approach education, just for some context.
Yeah, good point.
So you've got South Korea, a country known for its academic rigor. Their average school day is about 8 hours.
But they also have their own version of cram schools, right?
Mhm.
Like those private academies.
Exactly. So in a way, they're kind of similar to Taiwan in that sense.
Interesting. What about other places?
Well, China's official school day is a bit shorter, about 7 hours,
Okay.
and the U.S. is around 6.5.
Huh. And then there's Finland.
Ah, Finland. Always the outlier.
Right. They've got this reputation for having a super short school day, like only 5 hours, but their students consistently perform really well on international tests.
It's kind of mind-blowing, like they're doing something right, clearly.
Yeah. Makes you wonder if all those extra hours of studying are really necessary.
Maybe not.
Okay, so let's get into some of the potential downsides of all this intense studying. One of the biggest concerns, and something that I think we can all relate to, is sleep deprivation.
Ugh, tell me about it.
I mean, teenagers need like 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night to function properly.
Absolutely. And that's just not happening for a lot of students in Taiwan.
With early school start times, long days, homework, cram schools, I mean, it's a recipe for exhaustion.
And when you're constantly running on empty, it takes a toll on your physical and mental health.
Oh, yeah. We've got information here highlighting all sorts of potential risks associated with chronic sleep deprivation. Things like obesity, increased risk of diabetes, a weakened immune system.
Not to mention the mental and emotional side of things.
Right, like you're more susceptible to stress, anxiety, mood swings.
Which can really impact your ability to focus and learn effectively.
It's a vicious cycle.
Definitely. And it's not just about feeling tired and cranky. Sleep deprivation actually affects your cognitive abilities.
What do you mean?
Like your concentration, your memory, your ability to process information. All of that suffers when you're not getting enough sleep.
So all those extra hours spent studying might not actually be translating into better learning.
Exactly. It's like diminishing returns. You hit a point where your brain just can't absorb any more information, no matter how much you try to cram it in.
Yeah. Makes sense. And again, it makes you wonder if there's a better way.
A more balanced approach, for sure.
Like Finland. Their students are getting enough sleep, they're engaged in active learning during their shorter school day, and they're performing at a high level academically.
It's proof that quality trumps quantity.
So what are some potential solutions to this problem of overstudying? I I mean, it's a complex issue, but there's some ideas floating around, right?
Yeah, there are definitely some things to consider. One idea that comes up a lot is later school start times.
Which makes sense.
It would allow teenagers to sleep in a bit more, which could have a huge impact on their energy levels and overall well-being.
Yeah. Anything else?
Well, there's also this idea of shifting the focus away from homework and towards more interactive, engaging learning experiences within the school day itself.
Kind of like what Finland does.
Exactly. Make the most of those 5 hours.
Right. And then there's the whole mental health aspect.
Oh, that's crucial.
We need to be providing students with the resources and support they need to manage stress, anxiety, and any other mental health challenges they might be facing.
Absolutely. If we want them to thrive academically, their well-being has to come first.
So to bring this all back to you, the listener, the key takeaway here is that Taiwanese students are incredibly dedicated to their studies, but all that dedication might be coming at a cost.
They're potentially sacrificing their sleep, their health, and maybe even the effectiveness of their learning in the long run.
Which is something we all need to think about, right? Like, what's the best way to achieve our goals without burning ourselves out?
Exactly. So here's a question for you to ponder as you continue your own learning journey. What aspects of your personal well-being do you feel are most critical to your success? And how can you make sure those needs are being met?
Because ultimately, it's about finding that balance between effort and well-being.
Right. You can't have one without the other.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Let's catch you next time.